What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lonnie from FlightSim Gaming. Today we are here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're testing out the FlightSim Studios Embraer E-Jet E175. This aircraft, was anticipated to be a study-level aircraft, and there's been some bumps along the way. It was released in the early stages of beta testing, I guess you can say. But it has not lived up to the hype that it was hyped up to be. So FlightSim Studios has been doing updates on this aircraft about every 2 weeks or so since it was launched. So they've done about 20 updates since. One of the major things that they don't have yet is they don't have VNAV implemented yet, as well as they use I think it's the default simulator ILS stuff. It's not the greatest, to be honest with you. I've tried it. It's not the greatest. But they are, I believe the next update, they are going to be updating that. They should be implementing VNAV as well as have their own type of ILS capture. So we'll see. We are doing a real-world flight with the E175. Today's call sign is the Envoy 3856, and we are heading to Key West. Real-world flight. Flown by Envoy in the E175. It's just, I guess, the flight that I wanted to try when I was sitting on the beach at Key West. I had seen this flight kind of depart and land, so I was curious enough to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, let me purchase this aircraft and see what it's all about. So we're here. I don't have a GSX profile for it. I've tried to follow the instructions by FlightSim Studios. One of the folders I cannot find in my computer, so I've decided to not stress out about that. There is no GSX at the moment, so we're just gonna hop inside the aircraft. We're gonna power it up. I'm still pretty green with this aircraft, so take it easy on me. This is, I guess, the kind of first look that we're doing with it, and I think this aircraft is gonna turn into something nice. It handles really nice. Other than some of the systems are a little bit screwed up, it does handle pretty nice. So anyway, let's jump inside. Let's get it rocking and rolling. It's kind of how the aircraft looks on the inside here. A lot of people talk about the textures. They look a little plasticky and cheap. They look okay to me. If you look down here, this is the version number that I'm currently rocking with this. This build was the July 17th build. They did a couple minor updates. I think they did a sound pack for it as well. Does sound pretty good. They were supposed to have the ILS capture and I believe the VNAV implementation for this update, but apparently it didn't work. So planning to release it on the next update, which would be, I believe, at the end of this month. So anyway, there is an EFB here. What we'll do is we'll come down here and we'll actually get SimBrief imported in here. And then we'll kind of do that. But anyway, let's come up top here. First things first. Battery 1, battery 2 comes on. Push the GPU button in. And then, I don't really know the real procedures, but nav light's on. It's always on. We'll go ahead and we'll arm the emergency exit lights. No smoking and seatbelt lights are coming on. And apparently the APU is something that you start up right away. So hopefully that'll get going. That's all you gotta sort of do. And that kind of sets everything for the overhead panel. We don't have to worry about any of the fuel stuff. The cockpit lighting, if we want, we can go ahead and turn all that on, but it's early morning here in Charlotte. We don't have to worry about any of that. One of the electric pumps, electric pump A, we have to turn on prior to engine start. So I'll open up the checklist and we'll sort of follow how FlightSim Studios wants you to do it. And we'll take it from there. That's really about it. So, let's come down over here to the McDo. Radio page is the first thing that comes up. We'll just go ahead and plug in that. Transponder will squawk 2000. And that's sort of all good. You can put in your ILS, your nav information if you want. I'm not going to worry about that. Don't need to do that. So, we'll come over to the flight plan tab here, and you kind of want to look at your nav ident page, make sure that your all your nav information, the dates are correct, and everything looks good. So we'll come over to the route tab, and we'll go ahead and we'll configure our route. So we're going to Key West, and today's call sign is Envoy 3856, and we'll plug that in there. Perfect. Come over to the departure tab here. We're going to select our runway. We are departing from aircraft right now is departing off of 18 center. We're going to go 18 left just because where we are at the terminal here, we're right beside this this runway. No need to taxi, all that. So we're going to go 18 left. We are on the icon for departure. Nooks transition. We'll go ahead and apply that. From Nooks, we're going direct Warfel. From Warfel, we are going direct Jevid. From Jevid, we are going direct Debril. From Debril, we are going direct eBay. From eBay, we are going direct Volt. Or Vault. From Vault, Goosel. And then it'll be the approach into Key West. Now, there is no approach for it. Yeah, all that looks good. Perfect. Come over to the arrival tab here. We are expecting runway 9. There is no star. Sorry, not that there's no approach. There is no star. There is no approach. So select the runway. We'll populate that. It is going to be an RNAV approach, I guess you could say. And we'll have a look at our flight plan here. There's no discons in here. There's going to be no... They're not going to populate any speed restraints or any altitude restraints in here because there's no VNAV. That's about it. Actually, it didn't even populate. It did not populate an actual approach. So give me 1 sec here. Again, I'm pretty new to it, so you gotta kind of play around, and I don't have much time with the... We want to do the RNAV for runway 9. It's not actually pulling up the actual approach waypoints. I might have to do it myself. Let's just see what I can do here. So it goes from Goosel directly to the airport. It should have populated the waypoints for the runway, but it has not. So I'm just going to play with this for a second. We have our departure stuff in there. Route. This is the page I want. Arrival. Runway 9. Runway 9. RNAV runway 9. And Busby is selected. Vectors to Busby. Okay, I see how to do it. Perfect. There's our approach. We have to manually put in our approach. Now we come over to the flight plan tab. I should see the approach. And there we have it. So yeah, Sting, Chats, Atna, Busby, and that's about it. Perfect. So yes, so what you have to do, you go over to the route tab here, you'll click on arrival, you have to click on your runway, click on your approach, and there is no star for it, so all is good. Okay, we'll go to the Perf Init tab here. A couple things we got to do. We also got to set up the fuel through the flight simulator as well. So we'll come over to the Perf Init tab here. Now, this page here, this is your performance in its kilogram tab here. What I learned was your takeoff landing fuel. This is your taxi fuel, and then apparently you always go /100 kilograms. So that's what I learned from 737 NG Driver when he was he did a video with a real world pilot. So our taxi fuel is 163. So we want to go 163, whatever your taxi fuel is, / and it's always 100. Plug that in there. Not that that does anything, but come over to page 2 here. We are expecting to climb up to 32,000. Average winds 203 at 19. Zero fuel weight 31.7. I think that's maxed out for this aircraft. Plug that in there. We have to put the weight and fuel in manually. So, how to do that? Come over to the. That's a great question. That's a great question. There was a tab up here. We go. Ground. This is what I want. This is what I want. Weight and balance tab. We are a block fuel of 51.27, 51.68, and payload 8846, 8846, 8893. And then center of gravity, I think we'll change this later, and that should all match in there, and it'll match in the McDo as well. So I'm actually going to go back to fit details. We're going to go ahead and import SimBrief. You have to manually import your SimBrief for this to work. Now, it's all our information here. We have to come over to this tab here and fill all this out. So we are we have our cargo filled in there, our fuel set in there, perfect. Runway 1. We are going 18 left. Conditions is dry. Wind direction is .240. So we'll type in 240. Wind speed is at 3 knots. Outside air temp 30. QNH 1018. And that'll sort of configure, you calculate this, and it'll, I guess, manifest and configure your V speeds down in here. And your center of gravity. Takeoff center of gravity 22.1. I think I'm supposed to adjust that. So I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I think I'm supposed to center of gravity 22.1, but 22.09 is as close as we're going to get. I might not be doing that right, I don't know, but our V speeds are there, so we'll have to input our V speeds. So we'll come back down here. We'll see our fuel is there now and our gross weight is there. And after that, over to the perf tab here, and we got to do our takeoff information. So here in Charlotte, we are going to be departing on the icons for our nav departure. Runway heading 183. Not going to worry about the runway slope. It is dry conditions. Elevation, you can't change that. The wind 240 at 3. We'll plug that in there. We'll go to the second page, and then we'll go to takeoff data sheet, where we have to turn ref ECS on. We'll enter that, and we'll enter that. That's your, I guess, your takeoff ratings. Takeoff temp 29 degrees. We'll leave it there. And then you go to takeoff, and then we got to plug in those V speeds. 140, 143, 143. VFS 201. Flaps to departure. And that's sort of it. Now, you also have to click this button here. This will bring up sort of this little flight director thing here. And I believe this is all set up. I think we're good to go. We'll set up the panel up here now. And we'll look at our departure stuff here. So top altitude. Initial climb, runway 18 left. Climb heading 183 to 1260. Then on a heading 183 or as assigned by ATC. So it's going to be assigned vectors to our first waypoint. Climb maintain 8,000. We'll put the flight directors on. Auto throttle will also go on. And we have our altimeter is preset, always in the aircraft, for whatever reason. Auto brake, we can go ahead and RTO that. And I think we're pretty much set up. I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, heading. 183 on the heading. Oh. Perfect. That is looking fantastic. We have the APU running, so we can actually push back from here, and then we can go ahead and start our engines now. GSX will still push back from here. It just, you cannot load the aircraft, which is okay. So let me just pull up Navigraph here, and we are departing off of 18 left. We're going to push back. It's going to be nose right, tail left.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Definitely an interesting plane, you know. It's it adds, I guess, to the fleet of what you can fly. You know, the only thing that really saves it for me at the moment is the flight model of it. It flies, like I said, it handles like a badass. It definitely flies nicer than the CRJ. Despite, you know, not having VNAV and the ILS not really working, and some of the systems a little chewed up. But it's, I think, at the end of it, it's going to be a great aircraft. And they're making an E190, E195 as well, so that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Not too many streamers using this aircraft at the moment. You know, a little disappointing because it has a lot of potential.
Locking gear.
By the way, rear-wheel flight flown by Envoy. This aircraft did depart actually from this gate. It's Echo 16 Alpha. Looks like it's just a stand. So we want to go nose right, tail left. Parking brake doesn't want to release. There we go.
All engines clear.
All right. We will go ahead and start up engine number. Just make sure. Hold on. Engine number 2 will go start. Can't really hear anything.
Set parking brake.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Looks like we have a good engine start. I don't really know what to look for down here. I'm not too worried about it. Let's close that guard. Engine number 1.
Unlocking gear.
Hydraulic 1 low pressure. We'll let that come up. All clear. Let the N1 percentage rise up. Don't have to add any fuel or anything. By the way, you have to configure your throttle if you have not. I didn't do it.
Tow truck disconnected.
I don't know what any of these buttons do down here. I haven't even touched any of this stuff. But to configure your throttle,
Right is clear.
come over here, calibration, and you do it all here. I didn't have to touch any of this. It just, it was okay to go, so. How do I get back to that page? There we go. Left is clear, right is clear. Looks like we got 2 good engines. We'll come back up top here. What we're going to do is turn off the APU. Taxi lights are coming on. We don't have to touch any of the packs. Actually, we'll touch this one because it's really cold in the passenger cabin. The GPU button, I guess, we push it in? I don't know. We'll leave it pushed in. The light's gone away. Oh, I think we're good to go. We'll go ahead, flaps 2. Flaps 2 set. And APU shutting down. We'll click this takeoff config. No takeoff config. Parking brakes on. That's why. Takeoff, okay. See, we heard it first right there, ladies and gents. And I guess we'll get going. I don't know what happened. There we go. We need that. Okay. Everything's looking good. We're going to pull up Navigraph here. Let's have a look at our taxi routing here. Very straightforward taxiing. We're just going to come over up to this waypoint here. Actually, let me get these taxi charts up here. So we're sitting here, we're going to go Charlie 11, and then we're going to go onto the runway and depart out to Key West. And this is our departure routing here, as you can see. Runways 18 left center, climb heading 183 to 1260. Then on heading 183 or as assigned by ATC. So we're going to continue that heading. We're going to vector ourselves off. Top altitude 8,000 feet. That's about it. That is about it, ladies and gents. Let me just see a couple things here. Let me just make sure. Something I'm looking for is the transition. Can't remember where to find that. There's also a landing thing you gotta fill out too once you get to the airport. So takeoff info. Bear with me here, ladies and gents. Bear with me here. Trims are set 4.0. I don't think... Did this sheet give us our trims? Let's have a look here. It says trim 3.2. Perfect. I really don't remember where you have to plug in your transition out. It's here somewhere. Trans out. There we go. Climb 18,000 feet. Perfect. And there should be one for descent as well. There we go. Done. All right, let's go. This aircraft, it does have auto throttle, which is a bonus. And our speed here, 165. We're just going to leave it at 165. We don't need to play with that. I don't even know what we're supposed to set that to. I see a lot of people doing different things. Some people are putting it to their V2 speed. Some people are leaving it at 165. I'm just going to leave it at 165, so. Turn the rest of our lights on. Beautiful day here in Charlotte. Can't complain. First time flying out of this airport. I've never done any flights out here. I wanted to do this flight, like I said, while I was sitting on the beach in Key West. I could have done a flight from Miami, but I decided to test out Charlotte. Airport is done by, I think, FS Dream Team, and they also do the Key West Airport. So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of the largest airports in the country. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but I thought I read that somewhere. Anyway, let's go ahead. Toga. There are no callouts. Just an FYI. No callouts. Little sensitive on the rudder. Little sensitive on the rudder. V1 and rotate. Positive rate of climb. Gear going up, and you want to maintain about 10 degrees. And we'll go ahead and flight level change. And heading select for now. We'll maintain this heading. Not going to go ahead and set the flaps yet. But all in all, nice departure. And I'll come down here and we'll go to our first waypoint. We'll hit the nav button. And we'll start turning. And I'll go ahead and we'll bug up. Bug up 210. We'll pitch down. And we'll go ahead. Flaps 1. And flaps clean. I'll go ahead and throw on the autopilot. And we're going to go ahead all the way up to, I think we're going up to 32,000. We'll go all the way up to 32,000. Flight level change mode is on, and away we go. We'll start bugging up now. We'll go up to 250. sounds, to me it sounds good. I don't know about you guys, but to me it sounds good. Recently just drove up on these highways here. Coming into, when we drove out from Toronto to Fort Lauderdale, I remember coming down this highway here. Very busy. We got to Charlotte at about 3, 4 in the afternoon on our way in to Florida, and it was very busy. Very busy time. A lot of traffic. And this thing loves to climb. I don't know if that's an accurate representation, but that's flight level change. The bonus thing is, well, obviously when you bug up, speed up, aircraft will dip down. So, coming up on 10,000 feet there, we'll go ahead and turn off the rest of our lights, and what I'll do is I'll bug up again. We'll go up to 300. .300 is set. One of the new things with this update is you can zoom in and out of this. Oh, by the way, if you want to sync your heading, just click on that. But yeah, you can zoom in and out on your, I think it's the MFD, which is pretty cool. And you can get rid of some stuff here. I'll get rid of the airports. The progress, I'll keep the progress bar up there. I'll keep the waypoint stuff there. The nav aids, I'll get rid of that. I like to keep it nice and clean. I don't want to see all that shit there. So, that's about it. Anyway, ladies and gents, I'm going to fly it up. We're at 32,000 feet on today's flight. Should be a nice landing into Key West. I have not flown into Key West yet. I don't know what that's all about. I do know it's a 5,000 foot runway. I know you vector yourself in off of the water. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll catch y'all in descent. Enjoy, everybody. Peace. What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the video. We are currently on the descent into Key West. We are doing about 1,500 feet per minute, and we're descending down to 3,000 feet. We need to be below 3,000 feet at Sting on the approach into Key West. Now, we are expecting runway 09 into Key West, and it's pretty gusty. So what I'll do is show you the weather information here so we can see kind of what's going on here. The winds are 090 at 14, gusting 21, so that's going to be forever spicy in this Embraer. Visibility 10 miles, few clouds of 2,500, it's 30 degrees, altimeter is 30.00. Once we hit transition out, I'll go ahead and select that. Now, this is the approach that we're coming on. So we're heading towards Sting. We got to be, I believe it's below 3,000 feet. And then we're going to follow this approach in. I don't know how the aircraft is going to line itself up with the runway. We'll see what happens. I am kind of glad that we are a little bit extended out. As you can see, we're about 11 miles out from the runway itself. So we'll see what happens. The aircraft does not have VNAV. I don't know if the RNAV approach is going to work. If I'm not mistaken, I believe you just got to hit the approach button, but who really knows? I don't fly this aircraft all that well. We just passed Volt. We're heading towards Gusel now. Like I said, no VNAV in this aircraft, so I'm kind of just, you know, did some basic math, and we'll see where we end up. I do know at Sting we got to be at 3,000 feet, so we'll see what happens there. We just passed our transition, so we're going to go ahead and select 3000. And it looks like we are, in about 12 minutes we'll be at Sting, so we should be good. We should be good. Now, in this aircraft, you have to set up your landing information, okay? Kind of like what you do with your takeoff information, you got to do your landing information as well. I've already set up the landing init page here. I got runway heading 093, 30 degrees. We are doing a full flaps landing. It is a short runway, so I think a full flaps landing is appropriate, and then I have all that information in there. And then our V-speeds are calculated through here. So V-speeds will change based on the type of landing flaps that you pick. Obviously, full flap landing is going to be slower speeds, and then there's a flap 5 landing, which is probably the standard flap setting for the landing in this aircraft, but I don't want to take the chance going into Key West, so we'll just do that. Now, one thing I did notice is your approach speeds here. So for anybody wondering what speed bugs you need to be for your flap setting, that's inputted right here. So that sort of helps. As you can see, 210 flaps clean, and then we'll go flaps 1, bug 180, flaps 2, bug 160, and so on. So, learning a couple things here and there in the aircraft. You know, it needs some work. You know, it's not the greatest. Hopefully, I believe August 1st, there's going to be another update, version 0.9.16. Hopefully, they'll have VNAV implemented. Crossing my fingers, I don't really know. Auto brake set to medium, but that would be nice, because it changes the whole experience when flying this aircraft for sure. It's going to be gusty coming in. Landing in Key West, you know, we'll see what happens with the Pappies. I have an issue seeing Pappies in the simulator for some reason. I don't know why. Definitely me. But hopefully I can see the Pappies. So it looks like the aircraft is not following our VNAV profile here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and see, this is part of the problems with this aircraft, right? So we're going to go heading select, and we're just going to go back on track here. So Sting is obviously missing off of this approach here, which is not good. I don't know where it went. So let's see what we can do in terms of getting that back. Invalid action, arrival. So, you know, these things, a lot of people have, this specific issue, I believe a lot of people were talking about, that the aircraft will sometimes veer off course. I'm actually going to start descending a little bit greater. It'll start veering off course, so yeah, this is part of the problem here. You know, it is what it is. I don't know where that waypoint went. We'll see what happens. Once I approach Sting, we're going to be on the heading select for now. Once I approach Sting, I'll go ahead and switch back to the nav setting. Coming up on 10,000 feet. I'll start slowing the aircraft down. Go to 240. Water's beautiful out here, gotta say. Been out here in Key West. Yes, parts of the water look like this. I was very disappointed in Key West. I didn't see this Caribbean blue water. In parts of it, I did see it, but definitely not in actual Key West. So I'm gonna get the speed brakes out. Get the aircraft speed back as we're coming up. We're gonna blow through 250. Get the speed back down to 210. Got to work out the kinks, you know. We got to work out the kinks in this aircraft. Taking a very long time for the speed to come back. I guess I can kind of pitch it up. We'll get the speed back. Miles out from Sting. We're not going to hit that 3,000 altitude. This end at about 2,500 feet. Got about 3,000 feet left. Get back on a proper heading here. We're actually going to go down to, we're going to go down to 1,500. 1,500 is where we need to be once we hit Bubsy. Start to bleed off a little bit of altitude there. I mean, a little bit of speed. Feel a little bit better now. And we're gonna hit nav once we pass Sting. We'll see what the aircraft does. I don't know what it's gonna do. And we're missing Chets as well there. That's fantastic. Let's get rid of that noisy speed brake. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and select nav. See what the aircraft's gonna do. Okay, perfect. Send it about 500 feet per minute. And coming up on
2,500.
210. I'm gonna go ahead, flaps 1. And we'll get the speed down 190. This approach altitude will be 3,000 feet here. Don't know what the aircraft is doing. kind of just let it do its thing. Make sure we got our lights on. Landing lights are on. Yep. Airport shall be somewhere out here. Right now in Key West, Florida, I believe the water temperatures are above 100 degrees, which is apparently not good. Typically the water stays at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and apparently it's starting to kill off. It's starting to bleach the coral down there. You know, when I was in Florida, we were in Key West, and they were at the time going through they're going through a heat wave, like a historical heat wave. So that's you know, it was really hot. Some days it was 110, 120 degrees. I'm gonna set my heading 093. That's gonna be our runway heading. Looks like we're about 15 miles out, still from Atna, so we actually configured the aircraft a little too soon, in my opinion. So I can see the aircraft actually is rotating. It's following that nav profile. It's kind of weird what happened there. I don't know what happened, but we'll see. Don't forget, everybody, if you're enjoying the content, smash down that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. Almost at 400 subs. We're close. Yeah, this aircraft would have so much potential if it had a proper VNAV in it. So much potential. Okay. Coming up on 1,500 feet now. We'll stay at 190. Once we make that turn, I'll get the speed back down. We'll go flaps 2. This aircraft, if I'm not mistaken, it's flaps 3, then gear down, I believe is the sequence. Hopefully we do not lose Busby. That would be pretty disappointing. And just to verify, 126. I think VREF, that's going to be, or there's your approach speed, 133. So from Atna, we will be 11 miles out. This gives us some time to get the aircraft configured. We'll just look at our missed approach here. It says climb to 3,000, direct Burpee and via heading 077, track to Goosel and hold. Aircraft has not configured a missed approach in it, so hopefully we get down. It's going to be pretty gusty. Hopefully I don't chalk it up. That is the plan anyway. It's beautiful, beautiful morning here in Key West. Also, I want to note, wind speeds are shown. Wind direction is not shown, but it does show you the direction of which the wind comes from. I don't know if that is accurate to the aircraft or not, but we do have right now 12 knots of crosswind. Okay, let's see if the aircraft is going to line up now. We're just waiting for it to turn. Feeling a little sketchy right now, not gonna lie. I think it's... there we go. Alright, now we're gonna go flaps 2. And we'll go speed 180. And then we'll go flaps 3. Speed 170. Turn the rest of our lights on here. And once we hit Busby, we're going to go down to... we'll go to about 100 feet above our minimum. Our minimum is, I believe, 426. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't for the life of me hit 426. So it'll be 500 feet is where we're going to go down to. Once we hit Busby, we're going to go down at about 700 feet per minute. That is the plan. 10 miles out from Key West. We'll hold the speed. We're not going to see the airport. I want to say it's like right here. So we are flaps 3 currently. Yep. Heading of 093. We got that headwind, which is awesome. 15 knot, 16 knot headwind right now. And like I said, approach speed is going to be 133. Yes. Seven miles out. I'm going to go ahead, gear down. And then we're going to go ahead, flaps 4. And speed 160. And then we're going to go ahead, flaps 5. Speed 150. Coming up on Busby now. And we're going to go ahead, vertical speed, 700 feet per minute. Flaps full, 133 on the speed. And let's see what the aircraft can do for us. Enjoy the approach, everybody. Hopefully I don't screw this one up. There's the runway there. Again, I don't see Pappy's. Well, Smathers Beach is right over here. This is where, or right over here, I believe. This is the beach that we went to. Oh, this looks like some cruise ships modeled into there. By the way, this airport is done by FS Stream Team, I believe. The same one that did Charlotte. Okay, we got gear down, 3 green. 1000 check. Flaps are full. And we don't have a vertical guidance. don't see any landing or any pappies yet. But the airport is in sight. Pappies should be over here somewhere anyway. I'm going to go ahead and take the aircraft. My aircraft. My throttles. And let's get her down safely, shall we? I still don't see any pappies. 500 check. Just gonna have a feel for how it looks.
400.
Got a beautiful headwind right now. It's beautiful.
300.
We're smashing down on the numbers. It's a short runway.
10.
Reversers are out. And nose down gently. I believe the nose might be already down. And go ahead, 60 knots. Ladies and gents, welcome down to Key West. Not too shabby. Legal landing. Couldn't see pappies. Typical usual problem I have here. Sorry, not like here at this airport. Just I can never see pappies. Unless it's dark outside. We're gonna go ahead and vacate here. Call it GSX. Looks like we're going to gate number 2. Do we have any other gates? Parking. Yeah, we'll go gate number 2. We'll see if that takes us to the actual terminal. Flaps coming up. And APU is not started. Now it is. Landing lights coming off. And it looks like there's already an E-Jet parked. That's always fantastic. And I think that's where we're going. There is no GSX profile. So, we'll see how this works. I have not downloaded the profile. I figured it out though. I have figured it out. So I'll make sure to get it. APU sounds like it's on. We're going to go ahead and park right here. Very bumpy. Very bumpy. We're going to go ahead and park there. Parking brake is on. Sorry, we'll turn those off. Strobe lights can come off. APU is on. We'll go ahead and shut down the engine. And like I said, there's no GSX profile, so or there's no deboarding. But anyway, here we are. Key West. Beautiful Key West. Yeah, so typically there are some passenger flights here. I believe Delta flies A319s from Atlanta. Strictly Delta from Atlanta. Delta doesn't fly from any other destination. American Eagle flies, or Envoy flies, from Charlotte and Miami. And I believe the odd times seasonally they fly from LaGuardia as well. I'm not too sure, but yeah, here we are. And Not a bad looking airport. Performance is pretty good. Performance has been great in the plane. But a pretty basic airport. So I guess this is where the passenger jets park, and it looks like there's your general aviation over there. But anyway, fun flight. We are going to be back in this aircraft. We're going to be doing a flight with Alaskan Airlines. And we're going to be flying Seattle to Victoria. Gonna check out some scenery out there in the western part of North America. And then after that, we should be in the 787. We'll see. Haven't flown it yet, but promise y'all we're going to do it, so we're going to get on that for sure. But anyway, thanks for coming out today and watching me butcher this aircraft while trying to land it. Hopefully we'll get some kinks worked out, and it should be a fun aircraft. It handles really nice, just that they have to work on the systems a lot with it. So, but anyway, catch y'all in a bit, ladies and gents. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.